Uganda, but I haven't gotten a chance to really present it to you guys in a concise manner. I just had gotten to speak to you briefly about what I wanted to do when I first came home. So I had gotten the opportunity to speak at the Pians Church on Friday night, so I had everything all laid out and everything, so I was like, oh, I want to share it with my church. I want to talk to you about Yesu Ebola Ministries, and Yesu Ebola means Jesus is able. And in Lugandan, which is a local Ugandan language, and we are striving to bring hope to the children of Uganda through care, education, and Christ. You guys already know about me, so I'm going to skip my bio, but I do want to tell you about the girls who are helping me. Christiana Puckett is my co-director and is the second child in a family of 11 with 9 adopted siblings. Oh yeah, I do have a picture of Christiana. This picture of Christiana. She has spent many years helping her mom raise drug-affected babies and traumatized youth. Christiana was home educated and dreamed of becoming a human rights attorney until she made her first trip to Uganda. She spent the better part of last year living and working at Amani Orphanage in Uganda as a preschool teacher until God led her to help start Yesu Ebola Ministries. Susan Achin is our founder, who was born in Kampala, Uganda. Oh, yeah, as a child, Susan traveled the U.S., Canada, England, in several other countries with the African Children's Choir. When asked what she wanted to do when she grew up, Susan always said to help people. Susan then earned 2 sponsorships to go to university, and she completed her degree in social work. Susan worked at a baby's home for several years, both as a supervisor and a social worker. She has a huge heart for orphan children and dreamed of bringing hope to the children of her own village of Soroti, which is where we will be working. We'll be working specifically in the Anyure village, which is in the district of Uganda. Uganda is about the size of Oregon, the state of Oregon. 76% of people live on $2 a day. Soroti is the poorest district in Uganda. There are an estimated 100,000 orphans in the Soroti district alone. There are an estimated 400 orphans in the Anyure village where we will be working. Education is a huge need over there, and many cannot attend school because they have to pay to attend school, and they're just struggling to get their daily needs provided for: food, water, clothing. So many children cannot afford to go to this school. There are many reasons why there are so many orphans children up there. One of the reasons is war. It is fairly peaceful up there right now, but for many, many years there was a war going on in northern Uganda, and many of these children lost their parents to this war. The other big reason is HIV and AIDS. Many, many people are affected by this, and this can, if they don't have money to get medicine, then a parent who is infected will die, and then leaving the children to fend for themselves. Also poverty, like I said, many people live on $2 a day or less. Another is abandonment. Many parents will, one or both parents will abandon their children. And then if the father abandons their child, then it leaves the mother unable to care for their child because she has no income, no way to feed their children. Also divorce, again, if one of the parents divorces, it leaves the other one struggling to survive. Also illness, different types of illnesses can render one or both parents unable to take care for their children. And also abuse is a huge issue in Uganda. If like a mother will die and the father will remarry, the stepmother will often abuse the child. And also aunts will abuse the children. And that's one thing that we want to educate these children against, is how it is wrong to abuse, and all children are a blessing to God. And it doesn't matter if they're your own or if they're your husband's or whoever they are, these children are important. So I'd like to share a few stories about the children. This is Rebecca and Lucy. They are total orphans who live with their grandmother. Their grandmother cares for 12 grandchildren. Only 3 of the 12 children are able to attend school, and they are attending school through sponsorship. Their grandmother struggles to provide for the children on a daily basis. She has no income and often can't even get water to wash her clothes in, and just simple things like that because she is very elderly and can't really get around. So these are those children. This is Joseph. Joseph's parents were killed by the rebel army, the LRA, which is the Lord's Resistance Army, when he was young. He is being raised by his uncle, and we're not really sure of his age. He says he's 13, but we estimate he's probably closer to 16. These 4 children are Martha, Deborah, Ben, and Esther, and there's actually a 5th sister that I do not have a picture of. But their father committed suicide, and these children were brought to their uncle's house. It is not known where their mother is, because in Ugandan culture, if a spouse commits suicide, the other will abandon the children because they believe it is a curse. This is Tamoth, who he was abandoned by his mother and is being raised by his mother's sister-in-law. And this is William. William is a boy, and Susan. William is a boy who really needs dental attention because his teeth are rotting. He spends his days wandering around begging. He says he attends school, but he doesn't. And there are many, many children like this in the village who have no education and no hope for their future. And they need just their physical needs taken care of, but also we believe that through education they can change their futures and change their children's futures. If they are not educated, then they won't be able to get jobs, they will not be able to provide for their future families, and the vicious cycle of begging and starvation and everything will just continue going. So what we hope that you don't need to change it. What we hope that our ministry will provide for them is, number 1, education. We are planning on building an elementary school where we will hire good and qualified teachers to give these children a good Christian education. We also will have a trade school for the older children who might not want to go through all of elementary school, but they do want to be able to provide for their family someday. And we also hope to have a sponsorship program if the older children wish to continue on to high school or college and continue their education that way. Our goal is to raise educated and self-sufficient adults who can change their own lives and the lives of their children for the better. We also hope to build an orphanage to take care of the children's physical needs. Not all the children who will go to our school will live at the orphanage. They will only live there if they need a home as well. Our school will also be for the needy children of the area who have family or parents. So we hope to care for their physical needs such as food, water, clothing, etc. And also give them the feeling of being in a family and knowing that they are loved, and also just showing them what a family can be like. It won't obviously be like a normal family like we all have here today, but it will give them that feeling. We will have a caretaker who will act as their mother, and we will have them in smaller groups so they can have specialized attention from the caretaker. And we also hope to hire widows of the area to take care of the children and therefore help them support themselves and their families as well. All our education and the orphanage will be Christ-based, and our biggest goal is to teach them about God and the good values for their lives, loving their children, taking care of their families, good biblical marriage, all these things that Uganda the culture is really lacking in seeing, and there's not a lot of good examples of this. And we want to give them a hope for a better future for themselves. We also will have a medical clinic at our school and orphanage and have a nurse on staff to take care of the children's medical needs. This is something that we kind of have to do when you have so many children and there's not good medical care up there already. And we hope in the future to do medical outreach to the community because this is something that's really needed. So we're going to do this. I mentioned when I spoke to you guys when I first came back that land was donated to us in the Honorary Village by a local family. And we have about 8 to 12 acres where we can build a school and orphanage and do farming to help cut down on some of the feeding costs. So we're very excited about that. And we're actually getting the land surveyed right now, so we'll know exactly how many acres we have and everything. So I'm excited about that. So just specific needs and costs. Just generally, we're hoping to put a well on the land. We're actually raising money for that right now. The well will not only be for our organization, it will also be for the surrounding villagers, so they don't have to walk so far to get water. Right now, in the village, if you want to get water, it is a very far walk. I actually went with one of the girls. She was 12 years old, and we went to get water from a spring. And it wasn't a really, really long walk, but she was carrying what they call jerry cans, and it's like this big bucket almost, and it was like this big. And when she filled that with water, it is so heavy. She carries it on her head. Now, this 12-year-old has more muscles than I could ever hope to have. But the point is that these children and the parents and everything, when they want to go get water, it's quite a far distance to carry these huge things, and they have to go back and forth because they can't carry too many of them at once. So our hope is to minimize that distance for some of the people who live right by us. The well will cost $7,000 to $10,000 to put in. It's a huge amount of money, but it will provide water for so many people. The school building will cost about $180,000 to build and furnish it, and the orphanage building will cost about $110,000 to build and furnish it. Teachers, we would pay them about $200 per month per teacher, and caretakers, about $150 per month per caretaker. We will be starting a sponsorship program. A school year per child, generally in Uganda, is $360 a year, and that's for 3 terms. There's 3 terms each year. And food for each child per month is $30 to feed, clothes, medical attention, all their needs. So what part of our sponsorship program is not only will people be able to sponsor children, but they could also sponsor a caretaker if they were interested in doing that, paying them each month, or different specific needs that we have. People will be able to donate specifically towards those things. And we're working on getting that set up on our website. We are currently returning in August. Both me and Christiana will be going over there, and Susan already lives there. And we're hoping to, you don't need JD, we're hoping to start a sponsorship program right away, as well as a feeding program to start taking care of these children's physical needs while we're working on building and setting up the organization. And also to have them get to know us a little bit and get to know them. And through the sponsorship program, we'll be able to provide that for them. We also are hoping to put in a well on the land when we go over in August and in September. That's the first thing that we're hoping to do. And then we'll work on, getting the land ready for building. And also, we will be able to take some of the neediest children into our house. God provided a beautiful house for us over there, way bigger than we ever would need if it was just us 3 living there. But we will be able to take about 10 children, we estimate about 10 children, into our house because God provided this beautiful house for us. So we're very excited, and we will move from that house to the land once we build. But right now, there's nothing there, so we wouldn't be able to live there. So this is where we'll be staying when we first go over. So for donating, we are currently in the process of becoming a 501c3 nonprofit organization, which Mr. Cinnamon is graciously helping us with. We could not do it without him. He is a huge blessing to us. And all donations given up until the point we are approved will become tax deductible as soon as we become a nonprofit. And we'll be sending out donation receipts at the end of the year. 97% to 100% of your donation will go directly to what you are donating for. The other 3% goes towards administration costs. There's some fees and stuff that we can't avoid. So, but our goal is to get as big a percentage of your donation towards exactly what you're donating towards. And you can get more information at our website. There's our website there. And actually, I didn't bring I have little business cards that I wanted to give everybody, but oh well. And you can also donate through our website and get updates from our website. And we're hoping to start a monthly or bi-weekly newsletter to send out to people with updates. Working on that. And also, if people are interested in giving cash or check, that's fine. Checks can be made out to Yesu as Ebola Ministries. And you can donate towards a specific item or participate in our sponsorship program when it started, and all that information will be on the website. Also, any donations made this past week or this week will be matched by a generous donor up to $2,000. So any donations given this week will be doubled. So we're very excited about that. And again, we are currently raising money specifically to put in a well on the land when we go over there. Unless you specify you have something else you want your money to go towards, it will be going towards the well. So we're very excited about that. So I just want to close with our ministry's Bible verse, which is Ephesians 3:20-21. Now to him who is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we ask or think, according to the power that works in us, to him be glory in the church by Jesus Christ to all generations, forever and ever. Amen. We believe that Jesus is able to do all he said he would and all his promises for these children. And that's one of the reasons why we named our organization Yesu as Ebola, because Jesus is able to do all this. Thank you.
Great, that's good. Very good question.